What if I told you all of Morgan Wallen's songs are connected? You probably think I was crazy, and while that's probably true, I have made a cohesive narrative that flows relatively well from song to song. That's right. From If I Know We all the way to I'm the Problem. I have made a clear line that contains every song that he's ever made that was featured in an album. Sorry, chain smoking and flower shops and the like. As much as I wish I could include you, if you didn't make an album, you don't count. You don't make this list. The best way to conceptualize the concept of this album is to think about it in smaller chunks with little bridges between the chunks. So, let me show you what I mean. Chunk 1, Prelude. This chunk contains songs such as Genesis, Born with a Beer in My Hand, I'm a Little Crazy, Superman. Those 4 songs. These 4 songs are just telling the listener, Morgan Wallen is telling the listener, I am only human. After all. I'm only human after all. Yeah, that song. But no. He is a little crazy, but the world's insane. So he's basically saying, the devil tempted me into doing all these things. I was born with a beer in my hand. So it was temptation. It was family, I'm a redneck, and rednecks drink beer. And I'm a little crazy, and the world's a little crazy. And if this does happen again, Superman's still just a man sometimes. So they say 5 things in 4 songs, which is pretty good. Chunk 2, Young and Stupid. This chunk contains songs such as The Way I Talk in the Bible, Up Down, We or Don't, Working Man Song, Country A, $sign, shit. Number 3 and number 7, Still Going Down, Don't We. These songs basically contain Morgan Wallen being a stupid teenager, drinking, and almost dying in a car crash. So when he almost dies in this car crash, he learns that life is kind of fragile. He decides, I almost did die, and maybe I should, kind of stop, drinking all the time and driving. Stop drinking and driving. But he is still going down in the country after the crash. So he comes back from the car crash, and he goes to his friends, and he's like, I'm alive, and we're still going down in the country, but can we kind of maybe slow it down? And the song Don't We is kind of like the first thing. Not everybody likes this kind of life, but we do, don't we? So, he's referencing the lifestyle of country people, and the song Lifestyle, the song Miami and then Lifestyle comes up next. In chunk 3, sorry about the coughing, my bad. In chunk 3, Conversion. This is where he meets a girl in Miami and brings her back to Tennessee and shows her all the country things at once. Shows her all the country things. And he's like, yup, this place is really cool. You should stay. And she decides, you know what? I'm going to try this, country thing. And Morgan Wallen goes to brag to his friends, like, she don't come from it, but now she ain't running from it, and she loving the lifestyle. But here are the songs. Miami, Lifestyle, Something Country, What You Think of Country Now, Talking Tennessee, and If I Know Me. These songs are about being country and doing country things, including having sex like a country person would. Yeah, this album is full of Jesus, which is Genesis and in the Bible so far. But then these are all songs about converting a girl from, city to country. Well, it doesn't work. The girl breaks up with him, and Morgan Wallen's like, you know what? Bump anybody who's not part of the culture of country. Like, those folks out there ain't TRY this. Ain't that some beep. So these songs in Chunk 4 is called They Not Like Us, by the way. It's basically just dissing non-country people. Not like USA people, just not people that are part of the US. Not dissing people that aren't part of the US, just dissing people that aren't country. These songs this chunk contains Ain't That Some, What You Know About That, Happy Hour, Come Back as a Redneck. Those 4 songs. And they're basically, like I said, just dissing people that aren't part of the country culture. Happy hour is done. Then, Chunk 5, Tennessee Trilogies. The shortest chunk contains 3 songs. Tennessee Fan, Had Me by Halftime, 98 Braves. It is the shortest lived Morgan Wallen relationship in this album. It lasts 3 songs, and it probably lasted like a week or 2. Ever since that night, she's been a Tennessee fan. Yeah, for like about three songs, Morgan Wallen. Then they break up like the 98 Braves. But this girl did have him by halftime. So, I like to imagine Morgan Wallen, after all this, decides, on summer vacation, he goes to somewhere in his white, as I like to imagine it, Chevy Silverado. He smokes 20 cigarettes, which is the first song. These songs in summertime include 20 cigarettes, Jack and Jill, More Than My Hometown, I Need a Boat, Rednecks, Red Letters, Red Dirt, Sand in My Boots, TN, Blame It On Me, Tennessee Numbers, 7 Summers, and Chasing You. All of these songs are connected. Why are they connected, you ask? Well, these all have the same motif of a girl that has big plans for herself. She wants to move out west to California, and Morgan Wallen can't do it. He can't love her more than his hometown. So all their life comes tumbling down. Jack and Jill. They are Jack and Jill. Their life comes tumbling down because they had plans together, but couldn't do it. The Big Dreams bags are all packed up and ready to go. So when the girl leaves, she goes to California, but she does still remember that summer, which leads to Tennessee Numbers, 7 Summers, and Chasing You. Tennessee Numbers and 7 Summers are close together because they're about how the girl don't answer his calls anymore even. And then 7 Summers is about how he's reminiscing, kind of. There were a couple of kids in a Chevrolet, which, again, ding ding, right on the money. He's in his Chevy Silverado. So, after Chasing You, he's laying here tonight, holding someone new, still chasing her. So he's on the radio now, he confirms. But we won't get to the radio stuff until kind of later in the album, actually. So, the song I Wrote the Book. I like to imagine that the person where he says, "Hell, I'm laying here tonight, holding someone new, still chasing you," is the girl. This is really the shortest lived Morgan Wallen relationship, because it lasts not even a whole song. Not even a whole bar. I met a good girl. She had her life straight. She said she loved that I was good at everything. One day she left me in a cloud of dust, 'cause I never was too good at picking up the one. I like to imagine that this good girl that had her life straight was not the person from the summertime. No. It was just the girl that he was trying to do a rebound crush with, but the girl didn't like that he didn't read the Bible. Very good Christian girl. And by the way, rednecks, red letters, red dirt, red letters. Red letters is a motif, actually, in this album. The letters in red ain't getting red enough to keep me on a straight line. And then I wrote the books, and then the song Rednecks, Red Letters, Red Dirt. And then in the Bible, if them words in red were a little more red, this sinner be a saint instead. Yeah, all of those, like, it's a red letters motif in this beginning of the album. I call it the beginning because, like, there's a very big focal turning point near the end of the middle of the album. So he starts to get over her. The good girl that had her life straight doesn't work. So he heads to the bar. And I like to imagine that Good Girl Gone Missing is about this girl that he had. Because I met a good girl. It's a motif. You might be talking about the same person. So Man Made a Bar says, she walked out again. Which I try to pay attention to every single little lyric and put it right in the place where it most belongs. And I think the she walked out again bar I hate it so much. Because I want Man Made a Bar to be right here. Why? I want the bar to be right here. She walked out again could be referring to this good girl that had her life straight. I think that's how it has to be. Because she leaves him in a cloud of dust, but then she decides to come back and then immediately leaves again. I think that's what has to happen here. And it is the flimsiest connection, and it still could be like a thing that you could see happen, right? This girl that leaves him in a cloud of dust, could have left him in a cloud of dust more than once. Because he never was too good at picking up the Bible. And by the way, it can be like they may have gotten in a fight, which maybe, you never know. I mean, this is the part where the theorist interpretation really has to go hard. From I wrote the book to Man Made a Bar. So it has to be about right here. So she walked out again. Could be referring to this good girl that had her life straight. I think that is what it's referring to. Yeah, got me over my first wife. Yeah, it could be that. But it is, I will admit, it is the worst connection on this album. It's the worst one. And it's still kind of not bad. Man Made a Bar, this bar, and Good Girl Gone Missing. Why do I put Good Girl Gone Missing here instead of where I put it in the one thing at a time concept? It's actually kind of simple. The Good Girl Gone Missing starts with bar lights, bar stool, too many, one fool, long neck, long hair. Last call with the first ones out of there. Could have been the right one, but it went wrong. So I like to imagine he is kind of setting up how he met this good girl that had her life straight. She drank a little. Like, she went to the bar to have some fun maybe one day. Again, it's a interpretation, It's not canon. As I'll explain later, I don't think this is what Morgan Wallen intended, but it is cool to theorize about. So, this girl that had her life straight was out partying at the bar one night, and Morgan Wallen is like, yes, but she turns out to be a good girl gone missing. Which, again, it's a motif. But man made a bar, and this bar set up the bar even more. So, yeah. So the bar is completely set up in these 3 songs, which I guess I could make a little, mini, chunk setting up the bar, but, But Morgan Wallen starts drinking because it's a good girl gone missing. It's good whiskey, bad decisions. Yeah, heartache on some hard living. That is it. He'll be getting. Don't know why it always goes like. But then nothing left and whiskeyed my way. He drinks a lot. And, he whiskeys his way over the girl. Yay! He's good. Yay! Nice. So, while he's at this bar, I like to think he has a night in between, but it might be on the same night. He sees this girl across the bar. He thinks she's absolutely beautiful. He walks up to her and is like, here's what I forgot to tell you what is in Chunk 7. It's I wrote the book, man made a bar, this bar, good girl gone missing, nothing left, and whiskeyed my way. Those are the songs in Chunk 7. Chunk 8 consists of If You Were Mine, Single That She Was, Gone Girl, LA Night, Last Night, Where Did That Girl Go, Cowgirls, and Dangerous. These songs are about meeting somebody new, breaking up with them, but having kind of an on and off relationship with them until him and his friend Ernest. Him and his friend Ernest, they're like, oh, long live cowgirls, dude. Long live cowgirls. So, this girl has a boyfriend. And, Morgan Wallen just bangs her. It's not a cool thing to do, bro. But LA Night and Last Night, I'm not saying he's in LA, but he might be because there's a lot of big city references here. He might be in LA, and that might finally be the explanation that I've been looking for Keith Whitley. I'm not sure. He might be in Los Angeles. I don't know, but we'll have to get to Keith Whitley in a little bit. Last Night is obviously Morgan Wallen's biggest song ever. And it goes at around song 48 in this album. It's talking about this girl that breaks up with him after they have a crazy night together. And then after that, he's right when he says, I don't think this is the last night, because the girl is right back all up on him. Maybe the next day, even. He's like, long live cowgirls. And he said, well, I can be dangerous with some liquor, dude. I can steal a man's girl with some liquor, Chunk 9, MTM Girl. This consists of Me to Me, What I Want, Neon Eyes, Warning, Whiskey Friends, Whiskey Glasses, Keith Whitley, The Interlude, The Only Thing That's Gone, and that's it. So, MTM Girl, the quintessential Morgan Wallen girl. She is very, very, very attractive. And she is about as fucked up as Morgan Wallen is. Which means that they both have had breakups and bad times with their partners. And, they decide to get together because that's what Morgan Wallen wants. So he comes to this girl and says, and remember this for way later, if you want a little while on your Friday, kind of sick of this same old thing. This neon is your lonely baby. I know what you need. You're tired of wasting your time. The other boys, you always tripping. Well, I know a guy that might just know what you've been missing. Say you've been looking around all over this little town. So he says if you're looking for something a few times in this song. And well, he has this crazy, kind of trippy night with her. He kind of gets blackout drunk, and all he can remember is her neon eyes. But Warning is about how he woke up the next morning and it was like, whoa, last night should have come with a warning. Woo. So I like to think Morgan Wallen goes straight back to the bar because the girl decided, you know what, that was a crazy night, Morgan. I'm not trying to get with you again soon. And well, he decides for the bartender to play a little Whitley for him and his whiskey friends. And he decides he needs a couple whiskey glasses. And that song leads into Keith Whitley, which is probably the part where he says, Miami, 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 you sure got this boy hurting up in Tennessee. Might be a callback to the Miami song earlier in this album. And it probably is, maybe he's thinking about that girl too, while he's thinking about MTM Girl. But what I like, why I put this where I did, is because it comes straight after Whiskey Friends, where he says play a little Whitley. So he does play a little Whitley. He starts thinking about all of the girls he lost, all of them. He starts drinking to forget, which I think is a song by Morgan Wallen, about this girl, this MTM girl from the last night. And maybe they spent more nights together, I'm not sure. But this night was a great night for Morgan Wallen. It was a trippy night for MTM Girl, and MTM Girl was like, no, thank you. But, yeah. So she walked out on Morgan Wallen, and he's had maybe he's just had so many breakups that he's just insusceptible to them. He cannot take a breakup. So he immediately goes back to the bottle. So, and also Keith Whitley. And he kind of just keeps thinking about all of the girls he's lost. And that's what I like to think he's doing. He's thinking about all the girls he lost, especially MTM Girl, because keeps bringing you up like that is a line that will come in a little bit later in the album. The interlude. I just thought it would be funny to put the interlude smack dab in the middle of this album. It is. It's song number 59 out of 119. Now, it's not a perfect 50-50, obviously, because you can't have half a song. Well, I guess you can, like Cody Johnson. Baby, ain't it crazy what can happen in half a song? But yeah. You can't have half a song, so interlude goes at 59 because I don't want to round up to 60. I feel like rounding down is better in this situation. But it's not even that. Because if you look at the lyrics, you can see that Morgan Wallen says, why I drink too much? Why I get too stoned? Like you lie, why you want to taste? Like, girl, it just can't. Girl, it's just so crazy. Yeah, it's just he's talking about this MTM Girl, and he's heavy drinking at this point. He goes to the bar every night, and he keeps on saying, bartender, pour me one more, make it quick and make it strong. And that's the only thing that's gone. He keeps on asking for stuff in the bottle. And he gets so drunk that he thinks, what if this girl comes back? He says, okay, so these are the songs in Chunk 10, Renewal of Feelings. If I Ever Get You Back, Just in Case, Sunrise, 865, Crazy Eyes, Neon Snar, Your Bartender, F15050, Lies, 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 Me on Whiskey, Wine into Water, Not Good at Not, Little Rain, Smile. All those songs. It's a big chunk. It's the biggest chunk, I believe. So, If I Ever Get You Back, it's like, man, I wish I got this girl. I wish I got MTM Girl back, because that was a night and a half. He said, I'll treat you like a queen, just like he did to that other girl that had a boyfriend. He says, I never fall in love with anybody else, just in case you need me again. He keeps on thinking about this girl. She keeps coming up. She's in every conversation, every smoky situation. So he says, if there's water, if there's whiskey in my cup, so not even whiskey works. So, and that comes up later in the album twice more. So we'll bring that up when it comes due. And he's talking about MTM Girl in both of those songs. So, Neon, okay, so Crazy Eyes, I'm not very acquainted with Crazy Eyes, but it is just about, I want those crazy eyes back in my life, basically. Neon Star is about, he's at the bar, and he sees, he's singing himself a country boy lullaby. He's wanting her to come back, and he's hoping there's a U-turn in his car. And he thinks to himself, if he was her bartender, if she's at another bar right now, he'd talk her out of leaving him again. And well, she stops at a gas station, and she really thinks it over. And Morgan Wallen somehow knows this. Maybe it's happened before, where the girl leaves him and has stops. But Morgan Wallen knows she stopped at a gas station and starts to think about whether or not to come back to Morgan Wallen. And I like to think she's been driving around town this whole time, or going to other bars this whole time, because you're a bartender. So yeah. He knows it's F1 50-50 if she comes back. Well, he knows he's been telling himself lies, lies, lies. He's been saying, I won't call her again and again. He's telling himself lies, lies, lies. He can try to act like he doesn't give a damn, but he does. So, yeah. So, the girl does come back. The F1 50-50 goes in Morgan Wallen's way. And Me on Whiskey, he turns the wine into water. Me on Whiskey and you on wine, turn the wine into water, which is another Jesus thing, by the way. He turns the wine into water under the bridge. He's trying to say, hey, forget about all those things we did that made us hate each other. Nah, turn the wine into water under the bridge. And, the girl and him get together, and they have another crazy night. But then he wakes up, and there's just a little rain beating on the window pane. And he's like, I could use a little rain. Which, by the way, will come back later. The I could use a little weather of some sort does come back. So, and then Little Rain, and then Smile. So, I imagine MTM Girl wakes up beside him, and she smiles, but not smiles like, that was a really good night, Morgan, thank you. It wasn't like that. It was she looks at him with those knowing eyes. I think that was it. Quitting Time. This is chunk 11, Finally Breaking Up, which consists of, like I said, Quitting Time, Had It, which I will explain, please. Leaving's the Least I Could Do, You Proof, This Side of a Dust Cloud, Everything I Love, Last Drive Down Main, I Ain't Coming Back. These songs are basically him leaving, or yeah, they're both deciding to leave on their own accord. Like, it's not like a super messy breakup. Well, it is actually. It now is because of Had It. I'm sorry. But, quitting time. He could see it in her eyes. She starts to cry. There's a glass on the floor. There's tears in her eyes. She's in a mess. It's a typical night. You know, they try to do one more night together, and they just can't do it. So he decides he wants to leave her. She decides, it's best for both of us if I just leave. So, Morgan Wallen leaves her on this side of a dust cloud, which he's been before, but it's always a weird thing. It's always him doing the leaving, him doing the running, but he's finally, in this album, I think before this album, another kind of like artistic interpretation thing, before this album, he was like dangerous, like in that song, in Dangerous, he was like, I get dangerous with a lot of whiskey or liquor, and, he leaves girls. Like, he has, like, one nights with them, which is cowgirls, by the way. This is just, it works so well. Like, if you have an artistic interpretation, it's probably backed up by a song or two. I will admit that this concept can go any number of ways. You can put these songs, well, you can put some of the songs before this, like Last Night, in the MTM Girl section, but I much more like it when it's like a one night stand with a person who had a relationship already, because the girl says she hates him, because this time you really weren't coming back again. So they do it a lot, and the girl from Single Than She Was, they do that a lot, and this time the boyfriend figured it out, and he was like, no, and she was like, no, fuck you. And Morgan Wallen's like, I know that's not the last night either. No matter how much you try to run it, it's not the last night. He's right, like I said. So it's kind of a little bit of a stretch, but I like where it is. So anyway, sorry, I got a little sidetracked. You'll have to excuse my dog. Yeah. So Everything I Love. So after this girl leaves him, he's sitting and he's like going back to normal life, but every time he sees a place that him and this girl went to, he just remembers the time he had, and it was so good with her and everything, Then the song I Ain't Coming, Last Drive Down Main, and then I Ain't Coming Back. Both of those songs, so in this song, he confirms the year of his Chevy Silverado, 1997. Why is that important? I don't know. But 1997 is the funny Deltarune number, so I just thought I'd point it out. So he leaves his hometown. Not because he loves the girl more than his hometown. No, because he cannot look at his hometown the same way again. So he leaves. And he goes to Jefferson City, Tennessee. And he either starts a music career or he starts a group of friends where he's just like, he's at the bar and he's like, I'm only quitting one thing at a time, y'all. And that girl is that one thing that I'm quitting. I can't quit alcohol and that girl at the same time. But I like to imagine the girl, he's talking to this girl on the phone. But the most likely of the three interpretations you could have for this chunk is that he's singing about this girl on the radio. Which, this song having songs within songs, like, it's kind of a little corny to most, but I think Morgan Wallen having a music career in this album, because it's the ultimate Morgan Wallen concept, it makes sense because it's like his like ultimate work, and it has to have his music in there because his music is very important to him. So he has a music career that consists of One Thing at a Time, Think About Me, Eyes Are Closed, Wasted on You, I Hope That's True, I Got Better, Kiss Her in Front of You, Heartless, I'm the Problem, Missing, and Living the Dream. These songs are all dissing MTM Girl. They're like, frick MTM Girl, bro, for on some real shit, for real. And, you know, he's like, yeah, but I bet you're still thinking about me. Who do you see when your eyes are closed? Me. You see me, by the way. And he's like, yeah, all this liquor and time that I'm singing about you, it's all wasted on you because you don't even deserve any sorries because you left me so broken. And I like to imagine this girl calls her and it's like, yeah, but you keep on talking about me, but you're never going to find anybody just like me. And he's like, and he goes on the mic and he's like, I hope that's true. And he admits that he says that he's gotten better and he's got a new girl that he can't wait to kiss in front of MTM Girl. But here's the thing, y'all. He's lying about it. Yeah. On the radio, he's lying, which country music singers, something just happened in World Series Game 5, y'all, sorry. The Blue Jays hit back-to-back home runs. OMG! Who is the pitcher? Blake Snell. Isn't it Blake Snell? I'm sorry, let's get back to Merlin for a second, and then I'll crash out about freaking Blake Snell. Heartless is a song that shouldn't be here. I don't think it was a song originally made by different people, but you know, he put it on an album and he sang it, so it counts. It's just a song about how the freaking relationship with MTM Girl was so predictable and bad. He hated it, you know. And he says, if I'm the problem, you might be the reason, MTM Girl. Which would come to bite him later. He even says the girl is missing now. Like, it's kind of like a good girl gone missing, but this is a bad girl gone missing. But in song 93, he finally comes clean to the people. He's like, this living the dream is killing me. So Jefferson City is a big city in this album. Like, it's a big city. And he says it's killing me. I mean, like, I'm living like a rock star, in and out of cop cars. Yeah. So, and then after, you know, lying to everybody and saying he's so good, and finally being honest with everybody, he, like, goes in on himself, and he has this, like, depressive state where he drinks. So this regret and depression chunk consists of I Deserve a Drink, Drinking Till It Does, Whiskey in Reverse, Band-Aid on a Bullet Hole, Days That End in Y, Wondering About the Wind, Devil Don't Know, Falling Apart, and Dark Till Daylight. These songs are really all the, like, really sad Morgan Wallen songs that a lot of people know. It's like, it's not even, like, there's nothing in this song that's even barely even upbeat. Like, Whiskey Glasses, at least it has like a, I'm gonna need some whiskey glasses. At least it's in kind of like a major key. Almost all of these songs. Boom, doom, 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 doom. I've been doing good, so good. If I could drink whiskey in reverse, it's like trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. It's been nice to start with whiskey and days that end in Y. Yeah, if anybody out there somewhere's got a secret they want to share, Oh, why it does to her what it does to us. It really just ain't fair. It's a whole nother level, girl. Even the devil don't know it's kinda hell. Baby, I'm falling apart. It's getting dark till daylight. Like, all of these songs are just depressing songs. There's nothing in these songs that is like, oh, at least this is this. I mean, at least it's kind of upbeat and catchy. No, except for Band-Aid on Bullet Hole, maybe, but that's a very depressed song anyway. So all of these songs are just he's so depressed. He's drinking even more heavily than the first time MTM Girl left him. So he's just having this like crisis, and he's wondering why this girl even left him, and he's still trying to diss her. The devil don't know the kind of hell that you're putting me through, and I'm falling apart, and it's getting dark till daylight. And then he has this realization, which is the name of Chunk 4, realization. He has this realization that maybe he is the problem, actually. It wasn't MTM Girl, it was him the entire time. And these songs consist of Me and All Your Reasons, Kick Myself, Somebody's Problem, Love Somebody, I Don't Think Jesus, Revelation, Skull, Chevy, and Browning. These songs are basically him realizing, I'm a really bad person. Like, I'm a really shit dude. Like, I drink too much. Oh, I drink too much. No. That's the interlude. But, Me and All Your Reasons. He realizes it's him. He realizes that he's tried to get rid of alcohol in his life. He even tries that, but nobody is even looking his direction because of what they know what he is. He is a bad person. So he just can't kick himself, and he realizes he's always somebody's problem. Like he's like somebody's good problem or bad problem, but somebody's problem is about to be his. Like he's about to be his own problem almost. He's even kind of thinking about this girl. I think about them tan lines, and I'm thinking, damn right, love to drown in them heartbreaker blue eyes. Yeah, he admits that somebody's problem. He might be reminiscing, like, on the time when he met MTM Girl, like heartbreaker blue eyes. Like, they don't know because back before, he doesn't really know that this girl is a heartbreaker, but now that he knows, he is reminiscing on how they met. Is like, I was like, I'm thinking about them tan lines, and I'm thinking, damn, I'd love to drown in them heartbreaker blue eyes. Yeah, that was totally what I thought, He said, and he cries out, to the freaking skies, I just want to love somebody and won't leave a hole in my heart. I might change where somebody's problem is. I'll have to think about it for a second in this video. I think I'm going to do it, y'all. Oh, I hate it when I change stuff in this album. It's just... No, I'm not changing it. I'm not changing it because he's having the realization that he's somebody's problem. He's somebody's problem. He's somebody's goodbye. Somebody's last phone number that they can't find. All of these, like, he's somebody's problem things outweigh the line where he's like, I think about them tan lines, and I'm thinking, damn, I'd love to drown in them heartbreaker blue eyes, because somebody's problem is about to be mine. Like, Oh, yes. Okay, duh, right. Yeah, it goes right here because, like, this girl was a problem for other people. Remember, um, the song, That's What I Want? You don't want this heart, boy, it's already broke. Told me everything she touched just goes up in smoke. Yeah. So, yeah, he is reminiscing here because he's loving to drown in them heartbreaker blue eyes. Yeah, he knew, he's kind of reminiscing. He's like, somebody's problem's about to be mine. That's like, he's kind of like reminiscing on when he first met MTM Girl here. So yeah, it makes sense for it to be right here. Yeah, it just takes a little bit of a leap in logic, which I don't like leaps in logic, but you know, it's a pretty good place. Yeah, it goes right here. If there's just too many things. He even says, I think about those things about MTM Girl. Yeah. Sorry about the whole like existential maybe I'll change something thing, but you know, this theory is really important to me. But I think I can finally come around to somebody's problem goes right here because I think about them tan lads. Now I'm thinking damn mad. I'm thinking in the past. Yeah. He's like, he's talking about like, I'm thinking. I was like, I thought. Yeah, like, because like whenever you tell a story, you're like, and I'm thinking to this person, like, what the frick are you talking about? Like, you're telling a story. So yeah. He's reminiscing here. Yeah. I came fully around. Yeah. It's not a leap in logic. It's just kind of a little bit of interpretation, which this album is full of like artistic interpretation, like I told you. Um, but after somebody's problem, sorry about that, y'all. Love somebody. He cries out to the people. Cries out to the sky. He's like, I just want to love somebody that won't leave a hole in my heart, which is again heartbreaker, blue eyes, that's somebody's problem. It's a motif. And then Jesus comes back in probably what is one of my favorite Morgan Wallen songs of all time, and I'm not even kidding. This song is underrated as frick. Listen to I Don't Think Jesus. He says this. Boy gets a guitar and starts writing songs about whiskey and women and getting too stoned. Like, he realizes that Jesus would not have done it this way. So, he decides, he has the revelation about himself. So he has this revelation and he's like, man, I kind of hate myself for this. So he has this uncle in Jefferson City and he goes look to his uncle and he's like, hey, Uncle Tommy, what are you doing? He's fixing up a car. Uncle Tommy, what are you doing? I need some help, some advice, you know? And he's like, yeah. And the uncle's like, yeah, Morgan Wallen, what do you need? And he's like, well, Uncle Tommy, I've just been like trying to understand how I can be a better man for women. And he's just like, hey, here's a fun idea. Be Skoal, that you love to dip tobacco. Chevy, that you love and you have one. And Browning. Skoal, Chevy, and Browning. You know, all those things that you love, just be kind of like them. Be always there in a pinch, be steady like a rock, and try and shoot it straight. He says, boy, just look around you. Be Skoal, Chevy, and Browning. It's kind of it's a good metaphor. It's a good metaphor. And he's like, thank you, Uncle Tommy. That makes a lot of sense. All he needed was to have it put into redneck terms, basically. Yeah. So, after he learns this advice, he's still kind of down on himself. And, well, this girl shows her interest in him. And, well, he says to her, well, baby, if you're looking for a slow dance, a smooth ride, doll's gonna meet you at the door every night. Got the right man, right time. Change your last name while the church bells chime. Soft place to land, heart you can trust. I ain't a betting man, but he kinda is, because he said, and I'm a gambler. I spin the over on the underdogs in I Ain't Jesus, but I ain't a betting man, but baby, if I was, honestly, I wouldn't put my money on me. That's what he said. He said I wouldn't put my money on me. But remember, if you're looking from me to me, in Money on Me, if you're looking for a person that's good to you, don't come looking at me. But this girl gives him a chance. And they're outlaws together, they're like country together, they love each other. Morgan Wallen sings the redneck love song, and he's really surprised that this girl that's way out of his league, by the way. It's true. She's way out of his league. He's super surprised that this girl even wants to be around him. And he's like, you gave me one good reason to live, to the sad old dying man. And then they have, I know this is, so, this part's about to be kind of funny. So they have sex, but it's not like the sex that Morgan Wallen's had before, where it was just like a one-night thing. No, this song is all about how, cover me up, 'cause I know you're enough to use me for good. Like, he's like, you can use me for good. And they make love. They don't have sex. They don't just have sex. They make love to each other. And that is kind of beautiful, but it's also like the weirdest way of beautiful, So after, he meets this woman and he falls in love with this woman, he calls up his mom and he says, hey mom, I thought you should know that I have a new girlfriend. And the prayers finally worked, and I'm finally living like Jesus, and I finally picked up the book, the Bible. And, well, remember I bring up the Chevy Silverado, the 1997 Chevy Silverado that Morgan Wallen has. Well, he walks up. He's walking around town, I like to imagine, in Jefferson City. And he sees this beautiful ring in this window. And he knows that this girl from Money on Me wants to marry him and he wants to marry her. He thinks, well, there's one way that I can get a lot of money for this. Sell my Silverado. So, the thing is, he's had this Silverado forever. For this whole entire album, for this whole entire journey, this Silverado is kind of like the last thing that reminds him of the girl. The girls, plural. And he's like, you know what? To get rid of all of my demons, I also need to get rid of the Silverado. And he sells the Silverado. And he buys the ring, and they get married. It's beautiful. And then the last two songs come up. The Dealer and Outlook. These two songs could go in whatever order you want them to. Outlook could go before The Dealer, but in my version, The Dealer goes before Outlook. But if you wanted to make your own full Morgan Wallen concept album theory, I invite you to, because it's kind of fun, honestly. You just have to listen and think really hard about every single lyric, just like what I did with Somebody's Problem, where I landed on the same point where I was before. Sometimes you'll do that, and sometimes it kind of feels good to validate your own theory, But The Dealer and Outlook. So he says to the audience, I've decided to spend more time talking to the dealer than worrying about the cards that I'm dealt. So he's talking to God because, because he knows better now to worry about, life and the problems that life throws at you. And then he tells us all that his outlook has changed, and now he knows that someone is up there looking down and looking out for him. And as the song Outlook reaches his final notes, one thing at a time, the ultimate Morgan Wallen concept album ends at 119 songs. So let me tell you, it was originally 117. And then there was like this Target exclusive album of Dangerous that included Band-Aid on a Bullet Hole and what's the other one? It was Band-Aid on a Bullet Hole and something else. This Side of a Dust Cloud, I believe. So it was This Side of a Dust Cloud and Band-Aid on a Bullet Hole. Those are the two songs that are in Dangerous, the Target exclusive album. So I thought about it for like a half second, and I'm like, that's part of an album. It counts. So if an extra song, like an extra bonus version of I'm the Problem releases with one song more on it, I'd be absolutely delighted, because that would mean there's an even number of songs on this playlist. I mean, I can't add any more songs. I'm out. Like, as much as I would love to add, like, Spin You Round, I don't think so. I can't do it. I can't add Spin You Round because it was before it never landed on an album by him. As much as I would love to include Chainsmoking, I can't do it. As much as I would absolutely love to include my favorite Morgan Wallen song, Flower Shops, and never made an album, so it doesn't count. If one of these songs, one of them was on If I Know Me, Dangerous, One Thing at a Time, or I'm the Problem, all of my problems would be fixed, but they're not. I would love a nice even 120 songs, but we just don't have it. But I hope you can see now that this theory is not totally crazy. It's only slightly crazy. You see, it's kind of like it's a good theory because, like, all of these things work together in, like, moving parts. They all click, It might take a little bit of thinking, like I did with Somebody's Problem, but you can tick around and think, tick, bang, boom. And, going from being young and dumb and kind of being tempted by the devil and having this completely crazy relationship that ends in heartbreak, to being depressed, and being super down on yourself, having the realization that you're an asshole, but then a girl giving him a chance, and not missing on the chance, and loves her and he loves her because she took a chance on him, and she loves him for himself. It's a beautiful story. And I wish that this was what Morgan Wallen meant, but it's probably not. The more likely theory is that all of the Morgan Wallen albums are just a concept in and of themselves, but even that's a stretch. So if you'll have to excuse me for thinking that all of these are connected, because they all kind of sound like they're telling a story that bank off each other. his music, uh, this isn't what Morgan Wallen intended to be done to his music, but I'll be damned if it isn't pretty sweet that this can be done with Morgan Wallen songs, which country music never really gets, songs like, or singers that tell stories in entire albums. So to have Morgan Wallen maybe telling a story across his entire career, he's a trailblazer, dude. So, with all that being said, but hey, that's just a theory. A Morgan theory. Thanks for watching, and also overcome your obstacles.